Saying we're out of. Okay. I think we're live now. I'm going to try that over again.
Woohoo!
I hit the button, and instead of going live, it's like, wait, you're out of storage space. That being said, hello, everybody, and welcome to another Thursday night of T.A.N.K.S Live, Time Acquiring New Knowledge Show. Appreciate you all being here. Sorry for the 3-minute delay on that. I've been talking to Ed this whole time. That being said, thank you again, Kevin Marquis, for the membership milestone super chat, and hello to you. Appreciate that. And I will answer your question again, Paul, here in just a second. Before we get into that tonight, we will be doing a giveaway. Nothing to throw you off like not being live, right? We've got 5 different cans of Extreme I'm going to be doing in one giveaway. We've got the Spirulina Flake. It's like, I've already heard this. I'm leaving. The Marine Flake, which is good in your freshwater tanks. It is essentially the Krill Flake, if I remember correctly, but I do know it is freshwater tank safe. Speaking of, we've got the Krill Flake, the Goldfish Crave Flake, and the Community Crave. We'll talk more about that here in a little bit. Set these all back over here. I love the Extreme Foods. Really, really good. All right. So let me go back up here. Again, Kevin, thank you so much using the membership chat. Been a member for 14 months. Very much appreciate that. Just want to say hello to everybody. Hello, Kevin. Thank you for being here. Paul Sotero did ask, James, here's a fishy question for you. Regardless of tank size, if you found newly free-swimming fry in a tank, would you do a water change? Why not? I'll shorten my answer even more since Ed's already heard this once before we went live. But essentially, I wouldn't let that dictate whether or not I was doing a water change. So if the tank needed water change, I would do that. If it didn't, I wouldn't do one just because there were fry in there. I do typically use a pre-filter sponge on my siphoning setup when I'm just doing a water change, so I don't have to worry about fry getting sucked out during that process. But I wouldn't do one or not do one just because there were new fry in the tank.
Can I add to that?
You're doing. Go right ahead, friend.
What I've noticed with guppy fry, I mean, there's a lot of different fry, so I don't know if you're talking some type of catfish or what, but because sometimes you need to do a water change to get them to spawn. But with guppy fry, I find whatever water is in the tank when they're getting born, they like adapt to the best. So like if I'm getting some fish at a box store, guppies, it might just be surprisingly nice. My goal is to get them to have 1 drop in my water because I know I can get those fry to grow. And the parents might end up dying off because they're used to a lot of salt and stuff. But there's something about when those guppies hit that water or the fry, with the live bears, they really get used to their environment. And so I wouldn't do a water change right away, unless you're going to move them to a different tank so they don't get eaten. But if you're keeping them in a community tank, I would just leave them there because that's the water you want them to adapt to it. At least that's my opinion.
And we will be talking more on guppies tonight. I didn't say this live, so I'll say it again. We're going to go through a couple questions because I see them stacking up already. Say some thank yous for the super chats. And then we are going to get into the guppy and live bear discussion with our special guest tonight. And we will have more on that in just a minute. Maria Z, thank you so much for the super chat. $5 super chat says, hello, James, Ed, and everyone in chat. Have a happy, healthy new year. Absolutely. You too as well, Maria. And thank you so much for that. Very much appreciate the support. I hope you're doing well tonight. T-Bones Fishy says, good day. Good day to you, T-Bone. Appreciate you being here. And Ben Backstrom saying, hey, everyone. Hi, James and Ed. Good to see you too, Ben. Susan for SLC Aquatics saying hello. Good to see a Fish Fam mom. The chat is already trying to jump on me. It is. That's always a good thing. That means it's on and popping. I love it. We'd have started on time, I wouldn't have been behind, right? Alrighty here. Let's do this. And thank you, Myrtle, for doing the audio video check. Appreciate that. Saw Bob Steamfod is hanging out in here. There he is, Steamfod Aquatics with the $1 super chat, with the super sticker, with the crazy eyes. Appreciate you, Bob. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, Steamfod. All right. Skipper, how's it going? Saying hello to everybody. Same with Whips World. Good to see you too, my friend. I think, yep, I have essentially caught up. There we go. I did. All right. So I'm going to pause the chat right there. And I'm going to introduce you to my special guest tonight. For those of you that are here every Thursday, this is a man you all are well acquainted with. I feel like he doesn't get to share his knowledge nearly enough because I talk entirely too much. So here to talk tonight about fish rooms and guppies and how he does what he does and has thousands of guppies in his fish room. Chattanooga Ed. No, I thought it would be good. Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Ed. You know, you're here every week with me, and like I said to you, I talk a lot and you don't get to say much, and I don't think people know just how much knowledge you have on not just fish keeping, but yeah, you're modest. You're modest. But so I wanted to let you talk tonight about what you've got going on in your fish room and kind of share some of your knowledge, because I'm always amazed anytime I see your tanks or your videos of your fish, and just the quality and quantity that you have going in terms of live bearers always amazes me. So for anybody that's not familiar, do you want to tell everybody a little bit about your setup that you have going on at your place?
Sure. I built a fish room about 2 years ago now, and I put a lot of time into it. So I didn't rush anything. I went super slow, and it's still not 100% done, but it's getting there. I did the surround air or the linear air pump type deal. So everything's being pumped on one pump. I think I have about 60 fish tanks in that fish room. I always heard about the stories about people's heaters breaking and staying on and killing all the fish. And I thought, that's BS. It's never, I don't believe it because I've had them for 40 years. And nothing finally happened to me in my fish room. The water got to almost 100 degrees and didn't kill all the fish. There were some Guppies in the tank that didn't die, but the Endlers did. Kind of weird. But wiped out the fish in that tank. So now I do one central heating for the whole room with an oil type central. I don't know what they're called. Doggone it. Do you know what they're called? They're oil radiator type.
The radiator. I mean, that's just always what we call them, as the radiator heaters, the oil filled ones. And
you call them oil, but you don't add oil to them. At least I hope you don't, because I never have. The electric just heats it, and then it keeps the room warm. And I keep it right at about 77. And so the bottom tanks are normally about 75, and the top tanks are normally about 80 because of the temperature flow. I do have a ceiling fan in there, so that way when I do live streams, I don't roast. I hooked up an air vent to suck the fishy smell and the humidity outside. That took a long time because I had to drill through the brick of the house, with that like that. One of these days, I videotaped all of the building of my fish room, and it's still in my phone, so I really should put that together. Just a lot of editing because there's lots of shots. Maybe I'll do one of those. I'll edit it all together and do a fast forward deal and just say, this is my fish room. Watch it get built. And then
absolutely
it's done. But yeah, and so that's one of the things. I also have a big poker table in my fish room because I love to play games, and I've never played any games in there. That's terrible. So someday I've got to have my friends out and play some games in there. But unfortunately, I made a huge blunder, James. I have 27 strains of guppies and endlers, and that's too many to line breed in my tanks. So now I'm building a second fish room just so I can work on line breeding a lot easier. So I'm going to have shelves with just 3.5 gallon tanks where I can just put a boy and a girl in there and then pull them and just let the fry grow and kind of do a system like that. I'll probably end up buying another one of Corey's pumps that pump everything. But I took my tubs from outside and brought them into the room.
And those are what size?
Those are 110s.
Nice, very nice.
So let me see. I discovered in my fish rooms I have snails, shrimp, and fish. Well, I discovered I also have a new thing I'm breeding.
Breeding a new rare species.
Yeah. A little bitty dragonfly came out, and that's its crust. I smashed and realized, oh, it's not in there anymore. So one of the legs fell off. Wish I would have saved it. But he was flying around yesterday, and the cats were just chasing him everywhere. They were loving it. Baby cat eventually got him. But it was like a super small type of dragonfly. So I think that's why I never found the nymph, because the water's crystal clear, so I can see right to the bottom. But he got away. So yeah, maybe I have dragonflies now.
So what and most of your tanks are 20-gallon longs, correct? I know you've got some other setups.
Yeah, I would say probably 45, 20 longs. I've got a lot of 10s. I've got some oddball sizes. So, but yeah, for big tanks, I don't do a lot of big fish. I have a 200 tall where I have 4 threadfin acaras, but I'm kind of thinking I may only have 2 because I haven't seen 2 of them for like 2 days. Once a month, maybe every other month, the 2 that have paired up get really mean and make the other guys hide.
Oh, I got it.
And because they're a type of geophagus, they do like to dig in the dirt and spit. So I have a huge plant canopy of water sprite above it. It's about a foot down all the way across, and it's like 5 by 2. So it's 10 foot of square block they get to hide in. So that's where they go and they hide. But normally they come down when I feed, and they haven't. So I need to check because they're big fish. So yeah, they're a good sized fish. I don't want them rotting in there. And I've got a nice bisher in there, and she likes to hide or come up on top of the canopy of plants. So I love that for her. So yeah, that's my big tank. Everything else is small fish.
So with as many guppies as you have in Endlers, it's very safe to say you're extremely successful at breeding these things out. What do you have a preferred substrate? What type of substrates do you do in your fish room?
I have just about every substrate I could get, because when I set it up, I wanted to set up at least 2 of everything so I could test every single thing. And hands down, over 2 years now running, the soil with sand top, the sand topped, organic soil is the hands down best. I mean, maybe the stuff that costs $50 a bag might be just as good. Gosh, I wish I would have brought it in. Sebrum gosh, I can't think what it's
like
called.
The stratum, the fluvial stratum and stuff like that.
Yeah, the expensive stratums, but I mean it costs so much, and the plants just do so much better in that sand and soil. And then when I pull the plants, I'm pulling the plants all the time and put them in different tanks. It's so easy. So I just kind of pinch at the bottom of the plant and shake it out, and the sand falls back in, the dirt doesn't come up. I love it. I thank you, Father Fish, for teaching me that method.
Absolutely. Definitely one of my favorite methods as well. That's the one tank that I refused to completely break down and broken down an entire rack of tanks. And that's the one that I refuse to break down just because I love that dirted tank. I do want to talk to you more about plants. I just want to let everybody know in the chat. I do see all the super chats, questions, and comments, and we will get to those. I thank you all so much. But we're going to move on through a little bit more conversation with Ed. And then, of course, we'll be taking your questions about guppies and live bears and all of those wonderful things from the chat, along with doing that giveaway here in just a minute. So you mentioned the dirted tank and how well the plants do. What type of plants do you have and recommend for successful guppy and inlet breeding for your live bears? Well,
I think the water mysteria, water sprite, that basically they're so close, it's hard to tell which one's which for me. They're great. I love, especially if you have a tank where you're looking down, because the fry will actually get on those leaves that are just under the water and hide between the water and the leaf where no guppies go, adult. I love seeing that. It's so cool. I do have a lot of kabomba in my tanks. I love how it looks, and I love how it grows. I've had great luck with that. Hornwort dies as soon as I put it in my tank, and it makes a mess, so I don't mess with the hornworts. I love Val. I don't know if it's necessarily the best for fry to hide, but once you get it to flow a little bit on top, then there's a whole lot of spots for them to hide on top. So I don't keep it, I let it start to bend over. So, it crinks.
Yeah.
Now, when I start seeing it going back and forth and I don't see water, food spaces, that's
Right.
when I cut it.
Okay.
But I still cut it like every 2 weeks. I cut about 6 inches off every 2 weeks. So it gets pretty crazy.
Now, are you still the guppy grass king?
Well, I have a lot of guppy grass too. But what I don't like about guppy grass is it's hard to see my fish in there. And last night I had a guppy grass disaster. My wild caught mollies that Kenny E and this guy right here caught down with Father Fish. The four of us went down and caught these mollies. Super difficult. They're the hardest fish I own. The water, I have to water change it all the time. I have to keep hang off the back filter on that 20-gallon long just to keep flow in there and keep more oxygen. Plus, I keep air, a sponge filter to keep air in it because they're just such a delicate fish.
Yeah.
And it seems like every 9 months, a couple of the adults die. And if I don't catch it, just that little bit of ammonia starts wiping them all out. And yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Say they were tricky to get up here from Florida to Tennessee. That was a handful in and of itself. And we've transported a lot of fish through a lot of states.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever had a tougher fish. We thought we were catching them for Father Fish.
Yeah.
So we caught like 110 and about 8 survived. Well, so last night, all the adults died. I pulled all the baby out, the fry, and some are juveniles. They're about, half grown. And I've decided to put them in a 55. And I'm going to keep some catfish in there. So if I can't catch one dead in there, but you see, it doesn't have guppy grass because the guppy grass is hard to see through. So this one's got like logs in it and Val and Anubias, easier plants to see around. And I think it'll just be a much better system for them, our tank.
Absolutely. I see how you also members with your membership milestone super chats up there. I just wanted to say that the video that's in the members only section where Danica Aquatics, Kenny E and myself are in the creek with the nets and you hear Father Fish and someone else talking. That's Ed behind the camera. And that's actually the fish that we were catching are the ones that he's talking about. That's the creek we were in.
Yeah, I didn't catch any of those because it was such a hard angle to get down to, and I only have feeling in one leg. I didn't know if I'd be able to pull myself out. So I just did the camera work at the top. Yeah. But I did go in the next day. The day before I was in.
We'd have drug you out, but it probably wouldn't have been a pretty sight. Father Fish, myself, and Danikin trying to drag you up a creek bank.
That would have not been fun.
No. I do have one more thing I wanted to go over with you, and then I'm going to jump back into the chat and we'll address some of this stuff because I know this chat's going to jump on me soon. But let's talk a little bit about diet, what you feed and how often you feed to be successful with all those guppies and endlers. Okay,
well, I love to be consistent, but I'm not very consistent. I wish I would do the live brine shrimp 3 times a week. But I'm guilty of not doing that. That's what I would like to do. Right. When I'm at home and not doing anything, it's no problem. But it's real easy if I go to the movies or say I go out to see Sean and James in Knoxville. I just don't do fried or any brine shrimp that day. I do use a little of the extreme. I would use more, but it's I don't want to say it's so expensive. It's expensive to feed 75 tanks. If you had one tank, it'd be hands down the best. So what I do is, and I've talked to them several times about buying a 5-gallon bucket of it or a 10-pound bag of it. And they said that it's just too expensive for them to do that type because it's a huge bulk discount when you do that type of stuff. And so I get my flake food from Omega One, and I really should try to talk to them to see if they'll sponsor me, since I'm one guy that's always talking about Omega One. But I use the Omega One Ultra Color. It's a high protein flake. It it is the mollies that James caught are silver mollies, but I feed them that stuff and they turn gold on it. So because of the protein, so it's really cool. The males do. It's really pretty, and it's not like a gold that you see at the store when you go to a fish store. It's like almost like a white gold on a ring or something, because it's silver, but then you see this yellowy gold tinge to it. It's pretty cool. But so I've used that stuff for probably 30 years. I've used it for a long time. Because I was using that with my angelfish back in St. Louis.
I used Omega One for a very long time. The other thing is you feed a much higher frequency than a lot of people do. So you feed what? How many times a day do you usually feed for your guppies and such? It's
2 to 3 times a day. It depends on. Now, like my large fish, I do once a day. My bichers, they're in a separate tank. I do them once a day. My angels, I normally do twice a day because they beg, and I got to. I've only been feeding my rice fish once a day, but just about all the other. Oh, and bettas I feed once a day. I don't feed them twice. But all the rest of the tanks, I pretty much try to do 2 to 3 times because I'm doing a lot of colony breeding and I don't want them to eat their fry.
Absolutely.
But the trick is to make sure that you don't feed more that it's going to sit on top for over like a minute and a half. Because if you're seeing it on top, then the snails are going to go to town and you're going to have a bajillion snails.
Yeah, it's a smaller quantity at a higher frequency. And that's awesome. I know at one point you were sometimes feeding 4 or 5 times a day. When you had, not that you don't have a lot going, but I know that at one point you were way up there and so was I, just because of, keeping the predation down on the fry and growing things out. So that's awesome. I'm going to jump into the chat here because I know we've got some questions and super chats and all sorts of awesome people hanging out. Let's see. I've got it frozen at Timbo Tanking It Easy, saying hello and Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, Timbo. Appreciate you being here. Paul Stero saying hello. Says, thanks, fellas. I thought that question would stimulate a little discussion. Absolutely. I did give you a longer answer before I realized that we had not gone live, so I kind of shortened it to catch up.
It gave me a lot of time to think about it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's get the ball rolling here and see what's going on. I know I've got a lot to catch up on.
I also do a lot of frozen feeding, too. If it's not a day where I'm dropping in any live brine shrimp, then I might drop in like a cube of small bloodworms, a cube of Daphnia, Cyclops. I've got tubifex worms. I've got a few different types of frozen foods that I'm always rotating in because I just want them to get different minerals in their bodies and different things. If we always ate carrots, we might see good, but we may not. I don't know. Maybe our fingernails will stop growing. I don't know.
Absolutely. Got our buddy Sean in here. Peck Tech, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Not necessary, my friend, but very much appreciated. Saying Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to you. I apologize I did not get back to your text or Facebook message, which I had so many come in that by the time I got done with the family, I just kind of passed out on Christmas. And so I apologize to everybody that did message me that I didn't get back to Christmas Day. But I did really appreciate that. And thank you again for the super chat, Sean. Now, speaking of Peck Tech, I heard we might get to see him on a live stream soon.
Yeah, I think Sean's going to join us in the next stream, so that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that on the Chattanooga Ed channel. JFK2 with the $20 super chat. Thank you so much, JFK. Says, wishing all the wonderful fish fam a healthy, happy, and prosperous new year. May all your dreams come true in 2022. Awesome. I like that. I do. I like that a lot. Thank you, JFK. As always, really do appreciate you, my friend. And thank you for being here. Master Aquatics, just call me Eduardo. Been a member for 6 months. Saying, just wanted to wish you and Ed a very happy, healthy, and prosperous 2022. new year, and thank you for an awesome 2021 learning year. Eduardo, thank you for being a member. Thank you for spending 2021 with us. I really appreciate that. It's because of you and everybody else that's hanging out here that we get to do this, and we're not just talking to ourselves or talking to each other. So very much appreciated. Hopefully 2022 will be even better in terms of um, the quality that I can put out. I'll put myself under that pressure.
Yeah, and
Go ahead.
can I say hi? Eduardo said in a stream last week that I never say hi to him, and I feel really bad. I apologize. Every time you come on, I think about you, though. I mean, we got the same name. So my sister, when she used to make fun of me, she'd call me Eduardo.
Gotcha. It's always good to see Eduardo. He got me the same, I think, a couple of weeks ago. He's like, I think, did James finally unblock me? He hasn't been responding. I was like, hey, I'm sorry. I missed you. I try, not that I'm anybody special, but I try not to disrupt the chats too much when I go in other people's live streams, because as soon as I say hi, it seems like I derail. So I try to just do a general hello to everybody. But you always see you there, Eduardo. Killer Kitty 08. I know another awesome member with $5 super chat with Karate Fox. I know it loves that one. Thank you, Killer Kitty. Appreciate you very, very much. All right. Rico Stan, been a member for 17 months on Team Snowball. Says Zen Ginger has to be closing in on 2 years. Is there a new icon for that level? There will be by the time she gets there. I've been keeping the 2-year member icon under wraps until somebody got close. And it's amazing that a lot of people are, coming up on that. Zen Ginger, of course, will be the first because she was the first member. And then she will get to be the one that debuts that badge, I guess, if you will, So,
I think she has me by about a half a day.
She does. Yeah. She jumped on that. Yeah.
I just hope I don't lose it, because my phone hasn't synced up with PayPal and it didn't pay any of my things. So I got to get to the place, but I think I might have the disease, the sickness disease that's going around that we cannot say, but I don't feel very good. It's either that or I have a really bad sinus infection. Like I was going to do the head bobbing from getting hit, but it hurt too much.
Absolutely. I wondered why you didn't do it when I was punching at you.
Yeah, it just, my head feels really crappy.
I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. But Rico Stan, thank you so much. Not just for being a member, but also being a part of the Fisher and Fever family of channels. It's always good to see you and good to have you around, my friend. Speaking of the Zen Ginger, there's a Zen Ginger, been a member for 21 months on that elite Team Zebra there. She always loves to rep with that hashtag Team Zebra. Says 3 more months, lots of emojis and icons there. Get on it with the laughing face. Hashtag Team Zebra with the zebra icon behind it. Thank you so much, then. Very much appreciate your support. And yes, you will have that icon when you hit your 2 years, and you'll be the first one, so you'll get to show it off, and then everybody else can see what it's going to be. Rico Stan following that up with $5 super chat saying, hey, man, that's just like your opinion, man. Yep, absolutely. That's all I give is opinions. Never claim to be an expert.
For sure.
But thank you so much, Rico Stan, for picking on us with the $5 super chat. Do want to let everybody know we are reading highlighted questions and comments as well as the mods have thrown out there. If you put the @ symbol in front of Fisher and Fever, we will read that live on the air, just like Crystal's Pets and Plants did, saying hello, Fisher and Fever. Hello, Crystal. Always a pleasure to have you here. I hope you are doing wonderful, and I hope the family as well. Stephen P. 2003 Aquarium's been a member for 4 months, showing it off there with his member chat, saying la 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 la, kabamba. Absolutely. Stephen, it's good to see you. Hope everything is well on your end. Well, look at this guy, our buddy Fantastic Freaks, who also has joined the Fisher and Fever family of channels, if you will. Been a member for 17 months on Team Snowball. Says, listening as I pack for a trip to Green Bay for a Packers game on Sunday. Ooh. Any Wisconsin folks have suggestions for good fish stores in Green Bay or Madison? There you go. Ed, do you know any up there? You go all over the place. So
I know an awesome comic book shop in Madison, but not fish store. My friend went to college up there, and Gary Gygax, the guy who invented Dungeons and Dragons, he's from Madison, Wisconsin, and he had I don't know if it was him, but it was his shop, and it was just the coolest shop in the world.
Gotcha.
Kind of off subject, but hey.
Hey,
it's Madison.
It fits in with the location.
Yeah.
HSPS Tech Tribe, been a member for a year now. Saying Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, HSP. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you as well. Thank you for your support. Look at that. Our good friend Whip's World there, who had the membership chat earlier, throwing $5 at us. It says, gentlemen, my hope for you is that 2022 is the best year yet on the journey that continues moving upward to great success and happiness. Happy New Year. Whip, I do very much appreciate that. I am really looking forward to 2022. I've already got a bunch of things lined up and I've kind of got my groove back. Kind of downsizing on the amount of tanks to be able to refocus on you all and the content here. So really looking forward to it. Thank you for the support as always. Thank you for being here. All right, I'm trying to roll through here. I know we've got 130 people hanging out. Thank you all for being here. Very much appreciate that. Jimmy P says, hey, James and Ed, it's great to see you both. Always great to see you, Jimmy P.
You know, oh boy, now I forgot who asked. Darn it. Someone asked if you can keep guppies with angelfish. You most definitely can, but the angelfish will eat a lot of your fry and your juvenile guppies. And if you got, I wouldn't put in boys that have huge tails, because those boys are going to be so slow. Like I wouldn't even, they might be slower than a betta that has a huge tail, because they're super slow, and they will get picked off also, because they'll go and dance in front of the angel, and the angel will think they're being threatening and tear them apart. But the females will have no problems. If you get a short-tailed guppy, you know, boy, and there's a lot of pretty ones, you'll be fine, because they'll outproduce what they can eat. As long as it's a big tank. I mean, I wouldn't do it in a 10-gallon, but maybe like a 55 or a 40 breeder, you'd have enough space.
Good advice. Good advice. I see Lisa from KG Tropicals hanging out in here. Lisa, thank you for being here. Thank you to you and John for the support and the send over. Very much appreciate that. Can't see it because of my camera angle.
You know, I miss Lisa. I've had so much fun last year. James and I got to hang out with Lisa so much last year. I bet you if you added up all the days, we might have like 10 or 12 days we got to hang out with her.
Absolutely. Now, it was always so fun because she would do the like the blue peekaboo hair dye, and then I would have my hair dyed blue, so we could sit there and talk hair color, you know. So
I only see red.
There you go. Lefty32138, been a member for 20 months. Says, oh snap, 20 months. With a surprise face. Yes, indeed, my friend. Thank you for the support. And always good to see you, Lefty32138, who also is going to be coming to a live stream near you.
Yes. Lefty is going to join us also. It's going to be an all-star cast.
It is. Tonight. It's going to be fun. Geek Boy with his 11-month membership chat saying just 1 month away. Yes, sir. Woo-hoo. And thank you so much for that support. And congratulations, which I know sounds weird, but I know a lot of people really look forward to those milestones. So I like to congratulate people. I'm not just full of myself, although sometimes I am full of myself. All right. I am almost to the bottom there. Paul Stero says, I just moved some juvenile black ruby barbs from the grow out where they were showing no color into a tank that had a group of adults. It's like somebody threw a switch, colored up now. Well, that is awesome. I'm glad to hear it. Maybe stress. I mean, you would know the environment a lot more than we would, but that's definitely one of those things. If you get them into, not that they weren't a quality environment previously, but a good solid environment that they can, you know, thrive in really well. Sometimes you can see that coloring up really, really quickly. So that's awesome, Paul, and I'm glad to hear it. All right. There is Withdrawal says, where do I submit my application to apply for a slot in the Fisher and Fever member of channels? So just talk to me, Whip. I mean, you're somebody that I know, that I've known for a while. It's one of those things we really weren't going to quote unquote roll out for several more years, and it just kind of happened that we started bringing people in, and basically it's just people that I kind of align with, if you will, people that I will obviously support. But I know that I can back them 100% without having to worry about second guessing the brand name, if you will. But yeah, just send me a message and we'll talk, my friend. Absolutely.
We could use him because he would be good in a fight.
Absolutely. Big old guy. He could be my bodyguard. Bob Purcell says, Fisherman Fever, what is your opinion on live bear mosh pits? Ed, are you familiar with live bear mosh pits?
Well, I love the song. I have a mutt guppy tank, and I have no problem with it. It's probably one of my favorite tanks, and I hate that I have it low on the ground because, like, whenever I get an ugly boy, and he's got to go because I don't want more ugly fish, he gets scooped, and I don't feed him to the bichers. I throw him in the mutt guppy tank, and it is a beautiful tank. So I'm totally in favor of mosh pit guppies because it's a lot of fun and it's pretty cool.
There you go. I do all sorts of crazy stuff that I won't go into. So my thoughts are, if something works for you and you want to try it, to see if it works, go for it. There's no right or wrong way to do things as long as you're not killing stuff off. There we did get the question. Vibes Aquatics, thank you for that question about the guppies with the angels. I would go along with what Ed said on that one. Great advice he gave there. And Vibes Aquatics saying, thank you for giving back to the fish community. Vibes, you are more than welcome. Thank you for being here. We're not experts. We just have years of experience. What works and doesn't work for us. So that's what we're here to do, is share. There's so much knowledge in the chat right now. As I've mentioned many times, the Thursday night, the T.A.N.K.S Time Acquiring New Knowledge show. I think that is really the best way to, quote unquote, give it back for the community, not just for us to give to you all, but, we learn things from you all pretty much every week. There's always something in the chat that is like, okay, that's something I haven't tried or didn't know, or a new method maybe. So thank you for being here, and thank you for giving to the community yourself, because without people in here asking questions, we just look kind of silly, right?
I think I saw the blind fish keeper here. I want to say, shout him out. He is so cool. And I'm pretty sure he's from Memphis, so he's a Tennessee guy too. We don't get to that side of the state very often, but he is an amazing guy. He has beautiful scapes, and he does it all by feel and hand, crazy awesome. Guys, I suggest everybody go check out the blind fish keeper because he is such a cool guy. I saw him in Florida, and I didn't get the opportunity to shake his hand because I was helping sell some fish, because I was Lucas Bretz was judging the shrimp, and I told him that I would help run his booth, and Lucas has like billions of people buying his stuff. So I was like helping sell fish, and I saw him, and I was like, oh, there's the blind fish keeper. And I couldn't say hi or shake your hand. I felt terrible, but it's awesome that he's here.
Absolutely. Good to see you, blind fish keeper.
That
was literally no pun intended. I just say good to see you to everybody. So for those of you that might be, I did. No pun intended there, legitimately.
2 weeks ago, we were asked a question about our most wild matchups that we have in our tanks.
Yeah.
And this came to my mind as soon as the stream ended. And then I thought about it last week and I didn't say it. But now I remember it again. So I'm going to say it this time. And it's not my tank, it's one of James's. The first time I ever met James, well, actually, it may have been his wife's, but the first time I ever met James was maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It was a long time ago now.
It's been a while, yeah.
Well, he had like one of these big corner tanks, and it was a big tank, but he had like Jack Dempsey's maybe in there and an Oscar. He had all these tough cichlids in there, and then he had one black skirt tetra swimming around with all the big fish, and nobody ate that tetra. Yep. And I was thinking, there's never been, I think, a bigger crazy thing to have in a tank.
Well, and that was one of those that came with some big tough fish. Where I got a tank from somebody. I don't remember exactly who it was, but it was one of those that the fish come with it type of deals. And it just, he worked out. Not something I'd recommend. I'm not telling anybody to go throw a black skirt tetras in with your Oscar or your Jack Dempsey. But for whatever reason, they looked after that little guy. Yeah, definitely a crazy mix.
You just see this one little black skirt swimming around the Oscars. It's crazy.
So Paul Sotero says, Fisher Fever, can you put long-tailed guppies in with veil-tailed angels? They don't move well either. That is not one I have tried.
But what in?
Long-tailed guppies, because we were referencing not putting the long-tailed males in with angels, and with the veil-tailed angelfish, because those don't move super, super well either.
I don't know. I don't trust any angels because they seem to dart really good. I mean, as slow as they ever seem. Sometimes they just go. They have like matrix speed sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes they get that little bit of sprint going. I really don't know that I would trust them either. Just because even though the veil tails don't necessarily move as well as others, I still think they could run down a guppy with a really long tail. Some of those males, they just don't move well ever at all.
And I don't think they're smart enough to run.
Yeah.
They'll just kind of swim right to its mouth, probably.
Absolutely. Fanaticals, hey, says, hey, Fisher Fever, what shirt are you donning today? It is my KG Tropicals. Oops. KeepFishKeeping.com. Got that one on today.
I've got Godzilla eating E.T. and Elliot.
I love it.
I was looking for my Fisher Fever shirt, and I saw a circle, and I grabbed it and realized, oh, it's the wrong circle.
I think the Godzilla is cooler, but hey, I appreciate it nonetheless. See if I can get caught up. I'm a couple minutes behind here, and then we'll do this giveaway. Abby Greenway says, and thank you for being a member, by the way, Abby. I was wondering, do you have any good ideas for angelfish care, as I couldn't keep them alive for some reasons, and the pH and all of that was fine. So, the first thing I would go to, if you will bypass the whole the water's fine, no, it's not conversation. If you know for sure that all parameters were okay and everything should have been successful, I would look into trying to find another source of genetics. That is typically the problem with fish. If you know that everything is okay otherwise, and you're just having really bad luck, the majority of the time, in my experience, it's just you're not getting a line that's going to work well for you. Maybe everything is fine in typical angelfish sense parameters, but the person you're getting them from has different parameters than the usual. And that works well for that person. I keep fish that maybe aren't in the quote unquote perfect pH, but they're fish that are accustomed to that I've gotten from sources that are accustomed to that. So if you were to put them in something that's different, they may not do as well. So that's something to look into. And of course, the thing that goes with that is if you're willing to adjust your parameters to the source that you're getting them from, and then you can gradually get them acclimated into whatever you've got at home. But
I think temperature is also a big one on angels. You got to find out what temperature they were originally in, because some angels really like it hot and some like it just normal. And maybe you had your normal and they like to be in hot water, because some people like to keep angels with discus and stuff. So they got to keep it in the 80s, and, they just get used to that.
Absolutely. Sarah J. Seberg, good to see you, Sarah. Another one of our awesome members. Dropping the $1 super sticker with that big brown pile of fertilizer. Thank you so much for that. I hope you and the family are doing well. Hope the tanks
she
are
needs
awesome.
To stay safe. There's tornadoes all around her right now.
That's not good. I did not realize that, as I don't stay in tune with things like I should. But yes, definitely stay safe, Sarah. 100%. Thank you for that super chat and support there. All right. Let me see. It just jumped on me, but I know I wasn't far. No, it was not far. All right, there's Sarah's. Oh, let's see. 9 minutes behind. Do we do the giveaway now, or do I try and get caught up real quick? Let's see if I could get caught up real quick. Vibes Aquatics is asking if we do any guppy sales and how Vibes would get some of our guppies. I'm not selling anything right now. And when I do, and this is not a plug for it, so please don't apply this to it so you can get some because it's not even going to be immediate. When I do start selling again, it is going to be to the members first and then move out from there. Just because I didn't realize how many people were going to have interest, and I wasn't smart like Ed, and I didn't build a 7,000 deep supply of guppies. So I'm building things back up to where I can sell to the members and have sufficient quantity levels for that, and then move out into the world again as previously. So it's not a bunch of things out of stock, but I wouldn't be doing anything right now, anyways, with shipping this time of year.
Yeah, and I've never sold a guppy in my life. It sounds strange, doesn't it? Well, no, that's not true. I guess I have at like fish swaps,
Yep.
like my club swaps. But I need to get the setup. I need to get bags and all the cool jazz, and I don't have that. Eventually, I want to. Still, half of my second fish room is boxes because it used to be my old storage room. So I've got to get all the boxes out of there. And then I'm going to set up a table so I can bag or do whatever I want, with the fish on the table. So that's just down the road.
Absolutely, but we do really appreciate the inquiry. Vibes really do.
Sure.
And there was time I was selling live fish, and it came into winter last year, and shipping went to heck in a handbasket, so that quit. But yeah, we'll definitely both be progressing our way back towards that. Ed's a lot further down the road than I am, but we're trying to make things available. And there's always the option if we're going to be somewhere. Well, I'll speak for myself. I'm going to be somewhere, and you're going to be that somewhere that I could always, bag some stuff up and bring it along. Like Ed mentioned, he's sold some at swap before. So,
but I put them in those soup bowls.
Yeah.
They snap down really tight, but you can't really put a soup bowl in those clear soup bowls. You can't really put that in a box and ship it. So, I want to send some guppies to Jimmy P as soon as the shipping gets back to normal because he's way in California, and that'll be the longest shipping I ever did. But I'm going to have James's help on that one. And then I also want to send some of these mollies that just crashed to Danikin, who's right there. Those mollies, though, look so cool in the 55-gallon because they're all schooled up. And they don't behave like the ones you get from the store. It's just really neat how the wild ones act so much different.
Alrighty, let's see. Wingmaster Supreme Forever saying hello to myself and Ed and everybody else. Great to see you, Wingmaster. Thank you for being here. Trying to get caught up in the chat because as soon as I put the hashtag in for the giveaway, the chat's going to jump and I'm going to lose whatever I've not grabbed yet. Let's do this. Petzotics says, has everyone seen Ed's January 2022 photo of the month on my website? I have not seen it. I'm going to have to go check that out, Petzotics. Wingmaster Supreme Forever saying, have you ever owned glass catfish and freshwater butterfly fish? If it's okay to ask, what are your opinions on them? If you have ever owned them, exotic-looking fish. In a nutshell, I have not done the glass cats. I've seen them a lot of places. They're a really pretty fish. They do tend to be fairly sensitive from everything I have read and seen and people that I have known that have them. They're not on my quote-unquote beginner's recommendation list, but certainly somebody that's understanding of how the hobby works and nitrogen cycle and all that stuff. It's not something that's difficult to keep once you're kind of in the know and know what you need to do for them. The African butterflies I have had before, really cool fish. You just kind of need to understand that it's a different ball game, if you will, with that top dweller and how they feed and how they live and the environment you need to have on the surface for them, I guess is the best way to put it.
I've never had one. I would love to get one. When I was at the fish store in Nashville, we were feeding them crickets, and it was so awesome watching those guys eat crickets off the top of the water. It made me really wish I could get them. But and I've had the glass cats, I think in the 80s. I know when I was a little kid, And they looked really cool at first, but they're really kind of a boring fish because they just kind of do this the whole time. For months, there were like 3 of them that just did this the whole time.
Yeah, definitely. Paul Stero saying Belltails can't get out of their way, but as Ed just said, guppies aren't the smartest tax in the box. Absolutely, yeah. Debbie Russell saying, awesome shirt. Yes, thank you so much. I very much appreciate that. Appreciate John and Lisa for the shirt and everything they do. Alice B says, any fish New Year goals or resolutions for 2022? To sum up, mine is simply to have fewer tanks that look better so that I can spend more time focusing to get things out to you.
I would say probably mine, it should be to get the Ethernet to my fish room so I can go back to having fish room streams. It'd be pretty cool to do this stream in my fish room and then come in here for my craft room and do the craft stream. I think that'd be really cool because my fish room is really neat looking, and it's a shame I'm not doing anything in there right now. Maybe I'm just gonna have to go pick up James someday and beg him to help me.
Hey, I'm always happy to do it. You know me, I'll get over there and start pulling duckweed and cleaning filters and all that fun stuff.
Well, and then probably other than the Ethernet, because that's a need for the show, a goal is to get my second fish room done, I think.
There you go. So, so I guess one of our biggest goals for both of us is to be able to share more of what we're doing fish-wise with you all.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Finn Wiggles with the $10 super chat. Another awesome member as well. Thank you, Finn. Says, I still don't know what I'm wearing to the living room New Year's Eve. ... Might not even go. Well, I hope you at least, get partway to the living room. At least check out the kitchen, the bedroom, and the bathroom, But thank you so much, Finn, for the super chat. Do appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful or happy New Year, I guess is the proper terminology there. All right, let's do this giveaway here. Let me go back up here so I can kind of grab things as they try and jump away from me. So I try and include everybody. I do. That being said, I can't ship the fish food out of the United States. So this is a U.S. only giveaway. If you're outside of the States and you want to enter and give it to someone, I'm okay with that. I will need their information. And if you're under 18, I'll need your parents' permission if you win. Because we have had that happen before, which is awesome. But I just like to let parents know, hey, I need an address and I'm shipping something to your house. Because the world is a crazy place. All right. I'm going to copy paste this in so everybody can see it. If you want to enter tonight's giveaway, I'm going to give you the keyword and I'll show you exactly what it is. Again, for those of you that were not in here before, here's my chat. The hashtag is going to be extreme, spelled like the food. So let's put that in there. We're going to pin that to the top. There we go. Just like that. And again, that is for 5 different cans of extreme. Got the Community Crave. Green screen is not liking that. Got the Spirulina Flake. Green screen really doesn't like that one.
Ah.
Or I guess I should say it does like it because it's making it disappear. Marine Flake, which again is usable in your fresh water with no issues whatsoever. Your Krill Flake. And normally when I'm showing extreme, I'm like, that's my favorite, but I've got so many favorites up here, I can't pick just one. And the Goldfish Crave Flake. So somebody's going to win all of that to try out some extreme. And depending upon how many tanks you have, that might be a good little while's worth of fish food there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we'll give everybody a minute. Hey, they haven't run away on me. There's Pet Sodics there. Thank you again, Finn Wiggles, for that super chat and the support. I really do appreciate you. Go down to here. Crunto Halfmoon says, hi, everyone. Hi, Fisherman Fever and Ed. I want to wish you both the best for New Year 2022. Keep safe and God bless. You as well, Crowtail. You as well. And thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Hope things are going well on your end. Let's see. Abby Greenaway says, will guppies get along well with barbs? So the guppies tend to get along with the barbs, depending upon the barb, because there are a dozen plus different types of barbs. The barbs don't always get along with the guppies. So if you've got one of the less aggressive types of barbs, where the individual barbs that you have don't show a lot of aggression, you may be able to make it work. Keeping in mind, of course, you're probably going to lose a lot of fry depending upon the layout of the tank and what type of hiding spaces are available. Since we've got the guppy expert as the guest tonight, what's your opinion, Chattanooga Ed?
Well, I think you can pretty much, guppies aren't going to mess with anybody except for maybe shrimplets. I mean, or other small little bitty fish. So, like as in fry of the fish, you can pretty much keep them with everything. It's just what is going to kill the guppy. And there are some great barbs. The tiger barbs really give barbs a bad name. There's a lot of great barbs that can go with them, and it'll be fine. And I would go to your local fish store and find out what they've got, and hopefully you can trust them if they say they have something that'll work.
Absolutely. We're going to do the giveaway here in just a minute. Okay, I see one person fix it. Say it has to have that hashtag in front of it, and you want to make sure that it is spelled just like that pinned comment of mine, hashtag extreme, to get you entered. Just because the computer is going to read it exactly like that for entry. So I'll give everybody about a minute to fix any improper. What's the word I'm looking for here? I've lost it. Words are going to be really hard tonight, apparently.
Messed up words.
Yeah, messed up words. Those words. Atlas B says, with the saltwater reef tank for a beginner, should I add coral or fish first once the tank is cycled?
Ooh, that's a great question.
So I would. I'm going to go on the assumption that you're going to have fish in there, because some people do coral tanks and they don't really put fish in there. If you're going to start with corals, and I know this is sounding like a non-answer, I'll get to an actual answer, but if you're, hey, Candy's in here, great to see you, Candy. I hope you're doing well, and I hope the family's doing well. I hope you had a good Christmas. If you're going to start with corals, I would start with softies. Start with the easier beginner corals. But if you're not going to do that type of coral tank, that doesn't really help you. That being said, fish is typically where I would recommend going first, just because, generally speaking, people that are moving into saltwater or getting into saltwater have had some type of experience with fish, whereas they may not have with corals. So you're kind of already used to taking care of that type of life form, even though it's in a different type of water. So I would say probably start with the fish. They're also, a lot of times, I won't say always, a bit more forgiving than corals can be if you do get your salinity a little off. Salinity is one of those things for some corals. It goes off by just a little bit and they're done. It's the same for some really sensitive saltwater fish as well. But the fish tend to be a little bit more adaptive. So that being said, I would probably recommend for a beginner starting with getting some fish in there and just keeping an eye on parameters. Salt is really one of those things where we talk about patience in freshwater, but it definitely applies to salt. I mean, saltwater is one of those things, if your tank isn't at least 6 months old, it's still not even really considered cycled, so to speak. Even though your parameters might be cycled, it's not a seasoned tank. It's still a brand new tank, even at 4 or 5 months. Alrighty. Make sure. All right, I'm going to grab this one right here. Oh, wait, no, I would be skipping some people. So let's pause that right there. All right, we're doing the giveaway. So let me share this screen here. We've got 72 eligible users. Share and share screen. Go to that tab and go to Nightbot giveaways. Everybody can see it roll live. There we go. You can see the chat's going live right next to it. That way nobody can call shenanigans. And ready, set, rock and roll. The winner of 5 big old cans of Extreme is Fish Tank Dad. Fish Tank Dad, if you're with us, say hello and congratulations to you.
Fish Tank Dads are the best because they get their kids into it.
Very,
I
very
had a
cool.
fish tank
And
dad, and now look at me. I love fish.
I want to say I appreciate the fact that you've been subscribed since 10/21 of 2021. So thank you so much for that. Drop that off of here real quick. Remove. Done.
What was fish tank dad's little thing? Was that a ram?
I think so. I believe so.
It's a cute little ram.
There, I see Fish Tank Dad in the chat. If you will send me an email to fishroomfever@gmail.com, my name, if you will, on the platform at gmail.com, just put something like extreme giveaway or extreme winner in the title so it is a little bit easier for me to find. I can search for it because I get so much spam. It's one of the joys of having it. And see, thanks, Blue Akara. Thank you so much. Another reason why I love using Nightbot is it's popping up Fish Tank Dad's messages on there, so I don't have to search. Send me an email with your information. I'll get that shipped out to you this week. And congratulations again. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoy the extreme. I really think you're going to like it. It's primarily what I use. They make a good quality food. All right. But yeah, just send me that email, fishroomfever@gmail.com. Send me the address that I can ship that to, and I will get that out to you. Hey, Zebra Pleco fans, good to see you. All right, I'm going to jump back off of that screen. Stop sharing that. Stop screen. And grab that. Now I have my chat back again. We've got a couple more minutes. I'll grab the last couple highlighted things real quick here. Quick as I can. Won't be in-depth answers, but we'll get you an answer nonetheless. Waitmaster Spring Forever says, I'm sending hashtag extreme love and gratitude to you both. Thank you for everything always. Thank you, Waitmaster. Very, very, very much. We've got gratitude for all of you all for hanging out with us. 130 people still hanging out here, so thank you so much for that. Darlene's Tanks saying, what giveaway? Thanks, Fish Room Fever. Well, I hope you got entered. I think we gave you enough time. Alice P says, hope that was the saltwater question. I knew I was going to skip some things when that giveaway went through there. Son of a Quack says, so guppies are good. How about platies? Do you guys think a platy would try to mess with a medium-sized bamboo shrimp? Hoping it'll also get rid of some hydra I have. Chattanooga Ed?
I think a platy isn't going to... I think it would leave a bamboo alone. Bamboos are pretty big, and platies are smaller than mollies.
Yeah.
So they're just ferocious on their own babies. I mean, it's like watching a raptor go after humans. They just chase their babies everywhere and eat them. At least mine are that way.
Absolutely. And I agree with you. And platies are very pretty fish. We just both tend to gravitate towards the endlers and the guppies. But, mollies, another awesome fish as well.
Yeah, I like swordtails better than mollies.
I don't blame you. Yeah, I think it would be fine. And it may help with that hydra problem, as you mentioned. So, So go for it. If you're wanting them, absolutely. I think they'll do well in there. Shrimp shouldn't be in too much danger. Bob Purcell says, when is your next saltwater stream? We are trying to do those monthly again. So I will get with Mike Fish Tank Barn and, of course, Chattanooga Ed, and we will try and get you one in January. It's usually middle to later in the month when we do them versus first of the month. We'll give kind of New Year's a chance to blow by and get the holidays passed. He's got kids and I've got kids. And so get all the Christmas stuff out of the way and the trees down and all that. But we are going to be attempting to, assuming everyone's schedules line up, bring back the once a month saltwater Saturday series. Simple saltwater.
Yeah,
Mike had asking Bob. Go ahead.
Mike had a volleyball star. And so he was at all of our games during the regular season during the fall. So that's why we didn't see him.
Yeah, I mean, busy guy. Life happens. Sarah J. Sieber says, my reef tank is almost a year old now, and I still consider it new. Also, I emailed you earlier. I will check the emails. I did not get it. I've been binge watching The Walking Dead today. So I kind of didn't really have the phone with me much. But I will definitely get to that, Sarah. And yeah, it really is one of those things. I hate to discourage people because it kind of does when you talk about it. But even a year-old tank is still a new tank. I mean, there are some fish that you really want to have a tank that's been up for a minimum of a couple of years, like your mandarins, like Ed wants. You really want an extremely well established ecosystem before you put certain fish in. All right, I know we're coming up on time for Chattanooga Ed's live stream. Again, hey, Zebra Pleco fans, appreciate you being here. Chevy Fish, thank you for dropping the email in there, as did a couple of other moderators. Thank you all so much. All right. I know we had that new member there. If I didn't miss anything else, I did not. Fish Tank Dad, I really do appreciate you becoming a member. It wasn't necessary, but very, very much appreciated. Welcome to the team. Welcome to the Fishbone Fever family. And I will be getting that package out to you this week. But seriously, thank you for becoming a member and showing some love there. LSB says, is there a way to tell if my mollies and swordtails are pregnant or just well fed? Expert?
You'll see gravid spots on them too. So a gravid spot is if you look towards the back of the female and you start to see a darkness, because it's harder on a lot of those fish because they're a lot, they have a lot of coloration. Guppies are pretty much just like silver or light gray, but they'll get darker in the back. They'll get much more rounded. So, yep, you can tell if they're pregnant. If they're just small and normal, then they're probably not pregnant yet.
Absolutely. Well, and the other thing that I've noticed, as you probably have too, is a lot of times when they're really, really well fed and they're getting bubbly or bulky from that, a lot of times it's more chesty than it is at the back where that gravid area is. Although you do get that, I just ate way too much at one sitting, if you will, fat guppy or molly or any fish that just has a big old belly.
No, I've never had balloon ones though.
Yeah, no.
I don't know if it would be harder or easier to tell with a balloon because I just don't want to breed them.
Right. I can understand that. To each their own. That's one of those. I feel like with the balloons, you still have kind of a typical shape in the stomach where you can kind of tell the gravidness of the back side of that, closer to the lovely lady fishes opening for giving birth to those babies. All right. Abby Greenaway says, how do you breed neons? We have 10 guppies in a tank by themselves, and we have had them for a while. We thought they would breed, but they haven't.
Well,
so I have not personally bred neons. I know a lot of people have. It's just not something that I've had the setup for, or even the will to do so, I guess. Not that there's anything wrong with it, not that I wouldn't. It's just not something like, I have neons and I'm going to breed them. I know there are quite a few people here, I think even here in the chat, that have done some neon breeding or can recommend some really good videos. Because I have seen some good videos, because there are a lot of content creators here in the chat right now. And I watch as much as I can. And I know I've seen some videos from some people hanging out.
I think Mark's Fish has the best neon tetra one I've ever seen. More than likely, your neon tetras have dropped eggs because they're kind of an egg scatterer. They'll drop it over a green bushy area. But if you leave the neons in there, they're going to eat the eggs. And if they hatch, they're going to eat the fry. And another major trick is vinegar eel, something that they're going to eat because those fry are so small, you've got to feed them microscopic food. So it's tough. It's not easy. The hardest part is just raising the fry.
Absolutely. Alrighty. I think I've caught up as best as I possibly can. I'm sure something got missed, and if it has, I apologize. Hey, Sam-Scale, it's good to see you. On that note, we've got Chattanooga Ed, who's got an awesome lineup tonight. Not just because I'm there either. He's got Sean Peck and Lefty 3213A, Peck Tech and Lefty 3213A joining us for tonight's stream. You want to tell everybody what we're doing, and then we'll head on that way?
Yeah, well, we're going to be doing shrimp hides tonight. I came up with the idea last night. I was on with two awesome shrimp guys. I was with Papa Shrimp, and I was with Motor City Aquatics. Also Brian Detroit. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to make some shrimp hides because every time James and I go to the different shows, there's these guys that make all these cool pleco caves and stuff, and they always make a couple shrimp hides. But by the time we look at everything, come back around to start buying, they're gone. And I thought, you know what? I'm gonna try to do it myself.
I love it. Well, that's going to be fun. Chevy, thank you for posting the link again in the chat. I do have it pinned. Hopefully that's working correctly. We're going to go over to the link that you see at the bottom of the chat, as well as pinned up at the top of the chat, to hang out with Chattanooga Ed Live, work on some shrimp hides, talk to Sean and Lefty. That's Peck Tech and Lefty3213A. Any final thoughts, Ed?
No, thank you. It was a wonderful stream. Had a lot of fun.
I did too. I'm glad I got to ask you some questions this week and let you share some of your awesome knowledge on the guppies and handlers. As always, a huge thank you to the moderators, the members, the lurkers, listeners, super chatters, contributors, questioners, commentators, and of course, the replay crew. I love you guys. We're going to go hang out on the Chattanooga Ed YouTube channel. Until next time, keep your fish healthy. Keep yourselves healthy. Don't be afraid to catch yourself a little fish room fever.